right, first things first.
First things first.
Everybody should have actually both of your quizzes, quiz 1 and quiz 2 on your desk. That's because they're going home today. So parents, this video is actually for you. I wanted you to see, I'm actually not projecting a quiz, it's just a scrap paper. But I wanted you to see how our grading works. So, let me get this on. On your score, and you guys have learned this, but I wanted to just review it. You're gonna see something that looks like this. It's got a 1 and a 2 and a line. Or maybe you just aced it the first time and your page just says you got 100%, right? That means that on your very first try, you crushed it. You didn't miss anything. You were really focused and you caught all the details. That doesn't happen every time. Your brains have got to be really on. Plus, sometimes as these quizzes get tougher, you're going to learn a brand new skill and we'll quiz on it right away. So that's why we always have the chance to come back and make corrections on our quizzes. So you'll see this. So let's say maybe you accidentally missed a division problem and you forgot a label. Well, if like the division problem was number 3, then I would have circled number 3. That's how you know it's wrong. Capiche? And then if you forgot, let's say number 5 had a story problem and you wrote your answer and you had like 5 times 3 equals 15, but you forgot your label. Then when I'm grading it, I would have put like a line to remind you like, oh, you forgot your label, and I would have said minus label, or I would have said minus 1 point. So what that means is that first time you took it, your score would have been minus a whole problem plus a label. So it would have been an 89. Okay? That's not bad. You really only missed one problem and then a simple label mistake. Then we did some reteaching, right? We had some math workshop time. You got to see all the things. And then I gave it back to you and said, hey, this is your day to go ahead and make fixes. Do you remember that day?
Yep.
We went back and we fixed any silly mistakes we had on our quiz or anything that we just didn't know very well yet when we first took it. You went back and you fixed everything. And then let's say you're looking at it now and you see, ooh, you fixed that division problem. So Miss R either put a star, or Mrs. Scholes now, or maybe some of you have gotten these and you're like, what does this mean? Guys, that's my okay that I just wrote really fast when I'm checking it. So if you see that, it just means you're good to go. It's okay. Or I start it, and I'll even do that on these. We'll be like, oh, you put in your label? Perfect. You got those. If you fixed everything, then you're going to see this mark. Okay? This is the one that counts. I put both of them in the grade book. That way you can see, like, here's how we did the first time. Here's how we did after we had some extra practice. But the only one that counts for your actual math grade is this one. So is it a big deal to make your corrections and fix these up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that counts.
That's how
If you were lazy and you looked at it and you're like, oh, Mrs. Scholes graded it once and I missed 3 problems, so I got a 70, that's fine. Guess what goes in the grade book?
70.
A 70. You want to fix that up to see if you can get as close to 100 as possible. On your quizzes, you can always fix it to 100. What can you do?
Always fix it to 100.
When we get to our first test, those ones I can only bump up to an 80. So that's because we've had all of these practices. Usually there's like 3 to 5 quizzes in a unit. Actually, it's like 2 to 4, more like. This one has 3. And so you've got 3 quizzes, which means you had 6 times to practice some like quick tests, these quick quizzes. So by the time we get to the final test, I'm not going to say, go ahead and take your time and fix the things we just learned. You know why?
Because it's a quiz.
None of it's new anymore at that point. At the end, Catherine, at the end, you've already learned everything. Nothing is new on the test. And so these have new stuff sometimes. That's why you get to fix them up to 100. By the time we get to the test, you've learned it, you've practiced it, You quizzed on it. And so the test, we do a practice test, a preview one, and that one doesn't count. And then you get your final test. If you scored an 89, you are good to go. That's not a bad score at all. Let's say you scored a 70 on your test. I will still give it back to you. You will still have a chance to fix it up to what number?
100.
For the quizzes, we can fix it to 100, but for the tests, we can fix it to an 80, okay? Does that kind of make sense for grading? So that's our quick tutorial on what your grades mean, okay? Thank you.